Welcome, Bloomington North sports fans. This is Don Adams here from our main gym with the Bloomington North Video Club this evening, where we are live streaming the girls volleyball match, the final home match of the season. And we will begin with the senior night festivities, where each of the seniors will be announced and given a chance to walk out with their parents and receive a rose. We would like to take this opportunity to recognize Bloomington High School North's class of 2018 girls volleyball seniors and their parents. It is a privilege to honor them at this evening's home games with Southport High School. In recognition of their dedication to their sport and the support offered to each of them by their friends and families, each player will present her family or escort with a rose. Cassidy Abram is walking out this evening with her parents, Jared and Tracy Abram. She is a member of the Video Club, Cougar Leader Program, National Honor Society, Hoosierland Volleyball Club, a lot senior, was all-tournament volleyball team at St. Louis Presidential Day Classic 2017, and enjoys flying planes and working with stained glass. Cassidy will attend Indiana State University to become a pilot. Next up is Shay Barrow. Shay is joined by her parents, Sam and Casey Barrow. She is a member of Hoosiers Outrun Cancer, Riley Dance Marathon, Latin Club, and Hoosierland. She will be attending college but is undecided at this time. Kira Brinson is accompanied by her parents, Todd and Diane Brinson. Kira is a member of Build On, Orchestra, Book Buddies, FCA, and HOSA. Kira is undecided on her college plans to study, but plans to study to become an RN or occupational therapist. Lily Costello is walking with her parents, Bob and Kari Costello. She is president of Student Athletic Board, Champions Together president, a member of National Honor Society, Latin Honor Society, Unified Track, Hoosiers Outrun Cancer, Cougar Council, and was Student Athlete of the Week. Lily plans to attend Northern Arizona University to study psychology and criminal justice, where she plans to then go to law school to become a criminal defense lawyer or clinical psychologist. Next up is McKendry Fisher. McKendry is joined by her parents, Craig and Julie Fisher. She is a member of Build On, Project Middleway, Hoosierland, Theater, and a lot senior. She is undecided on her college, but plans to study psychology and play volleyball. And last but not least, we have Joy Tracy. Joy is accompanied by her father, Dan Tracy, and Wenmi Shi. She is vice president of Build On, as in Symphonic Band, National Honor Society, Tri-M Music Honor Society, Lots Senior, and is a National Merit Scholarship semifinalist. She will be attending college in the fall, but is undecided on the school. All right, with that, we're going to pause for a few minutes while the teams warm up and the game gets ready to start. Here in a few minutes, Jeff and I will join you again, and we will call the game from there. All right, Cougar volleyball fans, we're about ready to start the action here. Our play-by-play man, Jeff Aiken, has not yet made it over, so I'll carry this for a bit here. Plenty to play for the Cougars here tonight, not only currently atop their conference in the volleyball standings and therefore looking to maintain at least their share of that title, but this very evening the Bloomington South Panthers are playing, I believe, in Columbus, and if they defeat Columbus North, which I have it on good authority from multiple players on our volleyball team that they are likely to do, then the Cougars are the outright champions. So we will hope for a good performance out of them. Obviously, senior night sort of raises the stakes and kind of increases the emotion, but this is a very steady team, as you saw from the introductions, many seniors on it, so even if they start out a little nervous or a little emotional, they'll surely find themselves steadier as the match goes on. We'll look for a good finish.
Why, hello.
With us now is Jeff Aiken, our play-by-play man. A spirited first rally results in a point for Southport.
All right. Yeah, I had to do the announcing duties there for the senior night and then getting things going. So coming running up, obviously out of shape and out of wind as I do that. So
well, you can sit and pull yourself together.
All right, so that serve goes wide. That was number 4, Kirsten Whitlock for the Cardinals. Cougars have had a really good season. Last year we're hovering around 500. This year well above. Not sure it's the exact record, but doing quite well. Shea Barra with the serve. Goes long.
Yeah, as you were coming up, I was making the point that they're currently atop the conference in a tie right now, and that they're in a tie with Columbus North, and South is playing them tonight. The girls feel strongly that South will beat them, in which case they have a chance to win the conference outright with a victory tonight.
All right, and looks been Southport JV was not all that strong, so we'll see what the varsity has. Taylor Storm able to hit that. Ball went out from this angle way up here. Looked like it could have been touched, but that's why the referee doesn't sit up here.
They're probably being paid off already.
Well, that's how it works for a home game.
Yeah. Right, the other team always has the advantage.
So Lily Costello from the middle, hitting that one well, then comes back, hits the rebound. Shea from the back row. Cardinals get it to their outside hitter. Cassidy Abrams solid on defense. A lot of digs. And there, McKendry Fisher. Cougars hitting a lot from the middle, not much from the outside.
Yeah, as you and I have noted over the course of the whole season, this is a team that does have some good hitters, and they're capable of putting away points. But basically their strength is to keep the ball in play. They win the longer rallies pretty consistently. Other teams tend to make mistakes more than them.
Yeah, kind of a basic strategy. Let the other team be the one who makes the mistakes. McKendry Fisher's serve. That's, you know, I see that over and over. Always a tough play. Just that change of pace when the ball hits something up in the rafters, and 90% of the time they don't make a play off that ball.
Yeah, the player's whole balance and anticipation is set up for one thing, and then something else happens. Tough to recover.
Nice sinking serve there by McKendry. That kind of made it over the net and then dove down right in front of their libero. I believe that's Nicole Vidare. Fisher again to serve. Cougars up 4-3. Tough return, but nice play by Vidare to get it back.
Well done.
Cougars thought they had that one. Jade Vasquez with a set for Lynn Teeter. Good, hard cross-court spike. Cardinals unable to handle it.
Yep, that was well timed, right on stride, able to get a lot of force behind it. Southport couldn't handle it.
So McKendry continues to serve. Again, senior night. McKendry, one of 6 seniors on the team. Oh, that one just going long. Vidare making that last second decision.
Yeah, we've seen a number of serves go a little long. I suspect, and again, I was commenting before you got here, senior night probably has them a little more amped up than usual, but I'm certain that will settle down as the match goes on.
Could tell when they were their names read, obviously quite a while ago, but oh, nice effort by Abram. Then Vasquez putting it back into play. This is a point the Cardinals should have had so the Cougars can pull it off. That's a stolen point right there. Fantastic
effort by the Cougars to really, I mean, that was halfway up into the stands, it looked like from here, and we got it back over the net and put the point away.
Kira Brinson, another senior, she comes in to serve. Lily Costello goes out. But just commenting, I mean, there was some emotion when the seniors were out there being announced with their parents. I mean, this is a culmination of lots of years of hard work, practices, and being together with the group, and it's an emotional time.
Yeah, absolutely. As you and I both played high school sports, and when you reach the end of that phase, even if you think you're going to play in some separate phase, you're saying goodbye to friends and coaches and just a whole scene that you've been a part of for many years. It is certainly emotional.
End of an era. For sure. All right, we are at 6-5, Cougars advantage. Number 11, Tiana Wright, a senior for Southport, with the serve. Taylor Storm, sophomore. Touch play there by Lauren Cullison. Lynn Teeter, we got a violation.
I did not see what it was.
It looks like on the set they're claiming that was a
double hit?
Double hit, yeah. If you don't have your hands just right and you hit it not at the exact same time with both hands, it's a double hit. Boy, they're feeding Storm a lot, and she's coming through.
She's very athletic. She isn't quite as tall as some hitters, but she is so springy and so athletic that she can really put it away.
Really doesn't matter where you start. It's how high you can get, and she gets above the net and can really bring some power. Here she is serving. Nice serve. Ball that was touched at the net, so they had no choice but go for it, and then it ended up falling in. Senior Joy Tracy comes in for Storm.
Yeah, you can tell just in a little way they are not quite as smooth and at ease as they have looked in other games this year.
Yeah, I mean, pregame up on the upper level, they've got pictures for them. So, I mean, it's not like, oh, the only thing was them coming out and having some information read and said what they're going to do next year. I mean, this is really a emotional thing that they're constantly reminded that this is a end of an era kind of thing for them.
It is, and I don't want to overstate it because I've spoken to a couple of the players in class. They are certainly aware that if they win and Columbus North loses, that they're the conference champions. And as you say, that would be a big deal. This marked the first year they had beaten South in several years, and now they have a chance to win their conference championship in addition to the senior night festivities. So lots on the line tonight.
Yeah, the defeat of South was a exciting 5-match game where they lost the first 2 and then came back, showed a lot of resiliency. But, man, Southport really has it going right now. That was Lauren Cullison able to dink that one in.
Yeah, in fact, the Cougars may have to draw a little bit on that South game. You know, when we were there, we were struck even in pregame at how big and athletic the Panthers were. And they came out and were really very aggressive and looked very formidable and won the first couple of games, the second one in particular, in kind of heartbreaking fashion. But the Cougars hung on and fought back and won that. So.
Right, and I believe last year's team probably would have caved in and gone home after 3, but this is a resilient group. Nice spike there by Teeter, putting it right in.
Boom.
Off the baseline.
It's a couple for her.
She has done well. Of course, she is a junior. Of course, the two players playing the best are a junior and a sophomore. So seniors got to kind of get it together a little bit. They are a bit out of sorts. That one play where the ball kind of just hit off Tracy, she thought their teammate was going to hit it, and they didn't.
Got a little lucky there. That was headed out.
Yeah, another long serve, but a whistle again on the double hit. So they're calling that one kind of close. Those aren't at least ones that I've seen as being obvious.
That is a call that mystifies me, I will admit. I almost never see it when it happens, and it's always surprising when the call is made.
That one just out. I believe what they're looking for is a different spin to the ball. That if the ball comes off with a different spin to it, that's an indication at least that a double hit has happened.
Here we go.
Nice spike by Shea. That was a double hit.
Shea is a good bit of the fire of this team. She's a very fired up personality. She will not be deterred in any way by this relatively slow start. She'll keep them in it.
Yeah, she's a no-nonsense kind of player and even person. I have her in class, and she's very businesslike in what she does.
Yes, although she made clear to me in a discussion prior to the South match that there's talk across the net between the teams. Nothing too terrible, but I'm sure there's a little bit of friendly banter, shall we say.
I'm sure. He's got a good long rally here. A little miscommunication, but Fisher gets it. Costello from the back row. Boy, that set was not a good one, but their Southport player handled that well.
Here we go.
Put that away. There we go. McKendry Fisher.
And there we see kind of the strength of North. Those kinds of rallies are something that we have seen them win far more often than not in the games that we've seen this year. The longer that rally goes on, it seems like the more likely they are to win it.
Jade Vasquez with the serve. Nice cross-court play there. That was Maggie Davis, number 2. Southport player is not listed by height, but you can tell Davis is a tall player. Cougars have 4 players listed. 3 of them are on the main rotation of players at 5'10". Fisher, Barrow, and Teeter come in at 5'10". Obviously, height a big advantage. Going to be able to get up above the net easier. Costello, big spike there. She comes in listed at 5'7", but she can get up as well. Yeah,
physically she's similar to Taylor Storm. They have a similar action about their hits. They both get very high. She put a lot of force in that one. That was not coming back.
Lily going to go to Northern Arizona University to continue her volleyball career and education. That one off the block goes out of bounds. So to set us right now, we've got the Cardinals ahead 15-12. It's definitely been a back and forth. There was that mini run by the Cardinals that got them this lead, and they've held on to it. Barrow, Abram, and then Storm dinking it in. Nice play by Southport, and an equally not good play there by Tiana Wright.
Yeah, she hesitated when the ball came to her and never quite decided what she wanted to do with it.
So Fisher back serving again. Cougars down 2.
She had us on a run earlier. Perhaps she can do it again.
That's a long point for us. There we go. Yeah, I've noticed McKendry Fisher, a senior, who's had a lot of good runs. There was a game that we played against Eastern that she finished out all 3 games with a run of at least a few points. And right on cue, puts it right in the net. Right.
One of the things that I was going to say that she beat me to the punch on was that part of what's effective about serving is just getting the ball in play. That some players over-serve, they work a little too hard at it, and if the ball goes into the net, you don't get a point. She pretty reliably gets it over the net. So much for that thought.
So much for that theory. Number 3 for the Cardinals, that is Rachel Davis. Lynn Teeter, big spike, but nice block there. Number 8, Rachel Dean of the Cardinals. So Davis to serve again. Cougars down 3. Davis to serve off Shea Barrow. That's not going to happen. Barrow unable to get a good bump onto it. That's going to be a timeout called by Cougar coach Disney Brandenburg.
I do notice that the Cougar players are kind of chuckling about all that. As they came together, they were smiling at each other and laughing a little bit like, okay, this isn't really who we are.
Right, yeah, I think maybe this first game is just kind of a let's get the cobwebs out and get over the whole senior thing and get our legs under us. So not out of it by any means. Again, they go to 25. Rally scoring where any team, whoever gets the point, gets the point. In the old days, it used to be you could only get a point when you were serving.
In which case the games would last until 4 in the morning.
They would go on and on and on. So they did add some points. Now you've got to get to 25, but points are scored in a much faster pace. You do have to win by 2. Interesting, they do 5, it's best 3 out of 5, but if that 5th game, if it's tied at 2, they only go to 15.
Sports rules are strange.
They are indeed.
Like, for example, are we watching right now a game or a match?
True.
Or is it a set?
This is interesting. They are matches, but I have heard, having been the announcer, and sometimes saying Cougars win the first game, someone will tell me, no, that was a set. But I've been told an equal number of times that, no, that wasn't a set, that was a game. So
it's a game set.
Yes.
But Lily Costello just earned us a point nicely.
Not a game, set, match, I guess. So Costello then is going to be the one serving. Does a jump serve. Nice dig out there by Shea. Yeah. Boy, that was a play. Taylor Storm was able to get it over the net, and she knew she was right there on the net. If a player touches the net or even her foot crosses that center line, then that is a point for the other team. And Taylor did all she could, but it was just going to happen that she was going to get herself in the net. There's Taylor doing what she's used to doing, which is a big spike. Good hit from the back row. Lynn Teeter, though.
With another one. Lynn Teeter.
Lynn is
stepping up.
Lynn has been a solid player all year, but not one to get her name mentioned much. But now she is getting up and putting some points away.
She is. I haven't been counting, but she sure seems to have been the player to put away the most of these points.
Brings up Storm to serve. Taylor Storm. What a good sports name that is. Good serve. Cullison able to hit it off our blocker, then go out of bounds, unplayable. So Cardinals reach 20 points. It's 2016.
It'll just make it all the more exciting when we actually win this game.
That's right.
Or match.
Match. Contest. Teeter again. That one went off of the block.
Ooh,
not a very good serve. But Shea Barrow able to win that 50-50 ball there. Of the Cardinals, it is Cullison that seems to really have the most authority behind her spikes. Nice bump by Storm, but over to Cullison, and man, that was as if it was set right for her by one of her teammates.
That one.
Yeah, well timed. Will be interesting to see the Cougars' reaction. You know, again, teams sometimes have that panic mode, or are they going to have the, oh, yeah, we didn't win. That one just out. Tipped by Maggie Davis.
What they're going to have to deal with is not only whatever frustration they have at a slower start than they would have hoped for, but it's clear that Southport's defense is strong, that we're not going to be able to simply overpower them.
So Cullison able to, again, hit that ball from that outside hitter spot.
Yeah, we'll have to find an answer for that as well.
She is very comfortable over on that side. Number 6, Kylie Gibson re-entering the game for the Cardinals. Serving is number 14, Vanessa Miller. Costello to Vasquez, then McKendry Fisher coming around the end. Nice.
Lovely timing.
Spike there. McKendry much more of a sweeping spiker. She will kind of loop around, pull her arm from down low, up and over, getting a lot of power on those spikes. So Jade Vasquez serving. Cougars down 4. Short serve. Another dink play there by Maggie Davis, and no one home.
This is something that you and I saw earlier in the season when the Cougars were victimized by that kind of play a number of times in some of their earlier matches. It seemed to us that they had adjusted and that they were having less of that as the season wore on, but we've seen several of those this evening.
Couldn't go into the old habits of collapsing in and a lot of people covering one spot, but no one covering others. Boy, interesting play there. Shea was the one in the backcourt who hit the bump and then somehow tried to come all the way to the front to make the play at the net. Game point here for the Cardinals. And they're going to get it on a miss hit there by Cassidy Abrams. So the Cardinals do take the first game or set, your choice, and 25-18. Cougars are going to, again, kind of have to dust off the cobwebs and get back on court playing a little better.
They are, even in the game/set/match at South that South won the first two versions of. It wasn't. They didn't win by this many points. They were much closer than this. So I don't know about the entire season. I haven't seen all their away games, but this would probably be one of the bigger point differentials they've been on the losing end of all season.
Yeah, they have typically been in every game that we have seen. I like you said, not gone on the road to watch them, but seen most of the home games, and they've they have been able to stay close, not really blown out of anything. Not that that was a blowout, 25-18, but going to be interested to see how the Cougars do come out. Are they going to play more team game, work on getting those serves in? And they do need to contend with that Southport defense, who are able to block shots, and then a couple of their big hitters who are able to hit it off our blockers into unplayable shots.
Yeah, and as with all sports, a big part of what they're going to have to find is just the energy. You know, they look a little flat. You know, there was some hesitation even on that last point there. That was relatively straightforward, but Cassidy hesitated just a bit, and the ball was misplayed or, you know, kind of struck off to the side. So those are correctable errors, though. You know, those.
Right.
She wasn't overwhelmed by that. It was just a little moment's hesitation, and hopefully they can find a little bit more energy, a little bit more confidence.
Right. It's that, you know, with all athletics, that focus is very important, that concentration, be able to do the little things and the details, because they do matter. A little bit off can make a big difference on a bump or even a spike or even blocking. If you're just a little off of where you're supposed to be, it can make a big difference and then, you know, lead to you either getting or not getting the point.
Yeah, I look for that in almost any athletic competition I watch, regardless of the sport. I try to get the sense of who has the energy. One side seems to almost always have just a little bit more hop in their step, a little bit more force to whatever it is they're doing.
And with all sports, that can change. I mean, they can go back and forth. They always talk, you know, about momentum. Which team has the momentum, who's playing well, and really, like you said, it's definitely more the energy level of the team, and it's very difficult for a prolonged game or match to maintain that energy level. So there are ebbs and flows as it goes on. It's the team that can harness it the longest and most effectively that is going to win the game.
Yeah, and I must say, we have spent, you know, this whole season looking at the pregame routines. This, without any exception, Southport was the loosest of any team we have seen. I actually wondered if they were too loose, because it looked to me like they were not taking their warm-ups that seriously. It didn't seem to me. They were just openly laughing. Even their coach was engaged in what seemed like just some kind of joking around. And that's not a critical comment. It was just notable that whereas other schools typically have had their game faces on really from the minute the warm-ups began, they did not. And yet we see in the first game, they were loose. They were even after we got a little bit of an early lead. They were very cool and seemed to have their energy about them the whole time. So as you say, we'll see if they can maintain that and what it might take. Sometimes it's just a bad call, you know, or just a couple of odd sequences that can turn things around. So,
yeah, there's that fine line of concentration, but being too tense. Like there we go, the opening serve sails long, and having coached. You know, different sports over the years, you got to know the personality of your team as well. You can't force a team to be a serious team if there are some loose personalities, and you got to go with their strengths. And this Cougar team seems to be, they are a loose team, they're a focused team, but they are a team. They are together. That was McKendry Fisher there hitting that one off the blocks, getting the Cougars to a quick 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I would not describe them as a lighthearted bunch. They're all very nice and very enjoyable to be around, but they're fairly serious. They're fairly, as you were saying about Shea Barrow, fairly businesslike in their approach.
That's Joy Tracy with the spike. Interesting for Southport not having Cullison on the court. And she's the one that was doing the majority of the big hits. That's Davis, who tried to go from the center over a little bit of a cross court, but went a little wide, giving the Cougars a 3-0 advantage.
We have seen Shea go on some extended serving runs. This would be a good time for that.
It's an interesting shot, that controlled hit from the back row where they stay flat-footed but still able to use the form and get it over. That one just out as well. Number 11, Gianna Wright. You kind of see a little frustration now by the Cardinals. That, again, another momentum shifting kind of thing.
That was a good serve.
A team that, looked like McKendry Fisher not ready for that particular set to her. You get a team that wins that first game and they think, hey, this is going to be great. And come out for the second game and drop the first 4 points. They're tensed up a little. Then Maggie Davis served right into the net. So
boy, just when North gave away a little bit of its momentum, Southport gives it right back. And now we have McKendry, who's already gone on a run or two tonight. So let's see if she can keep that up.
Good, solid serve there. Ooh. Tough hit at the net. Tiana Wright able to get the point for the Cardinals. In to serve is going to be number 3, Rachel Davis. Ooh. Boy, a little dink play by Lily Costello, but Tiana Wright ready for that.
Yeah, and although Southport earned that point, I think it's fair to say that there have been 6 or 8 points at the net where the ball's bounced in a funny way or kind of landed just awkwardly at a strange spot, and they've almost all ended up for Southport.
Another long serve.
That's just one of those things in sports you got to deal with if the breaks aren't going your way, and sometimes they do not. It's not an excuse, but it is a reality, and they've got to find a way to not get frustrated by that. The breaks will go the other way eventually.
Right. Getting frustrated at one point leads to losing another. So,
right.
Again, another focus, concentration thing. Big spike there. Tiana Wright yet again. That is going to bring Cullison into the game, and again, she's been their most notable hitter so far. Wright goes back to serve. Once again, Cassidy Abram unable to put some direction on that bump. Kind of a little conversation with Coach Brandenburg about what happened.
Well, what happened was she missed that one.
Yeah, and boy,
that one as well.
I don't think she's seeing the ball well. The ball, this serve is moving. It's kind of a knuckleball kind of serve that, at least that one, kind of a split finger fastball that dove at her feet.
It is knuckling a bit.
Little miscommunication, but the Cougars got it over. Let's see if they can steal this point. Oh, that was a miss hit.
That's got to be, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's one we actually saw and knew what it was.
Well, when the girl hit with both hands and then it hit her off her head, we're pretty sure it wasn't supposed to happen that way.
Took all season, but we got it. Joy Tracy with a wild serve.
Not quite what we were hoping for. But again, they got to just keep their confidence and their positive attitude no matter what happens. They're right in this. They're obviously at 7-7. A lot of match left.
Into the game for the Cougars, number 7, Blakely Freeman. She's a freshman, has gotten some playing time here on the varsity, so she comes in. Probably trying to shore up that back line. Cougars now fallen behind 8-7. Cougars need to make sure not to press. Again, kind of let the game happen, make Southport make mistakes. Another tough play.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a little of what they found at South, where a very big and imposing team was having their way with them, but they found a way to work through that. Southport's doing very well on the plays at the net.
Vasquez, the setter, gets it up and over for Costello. Excellent hit, but Maggie Davis right there to block that down. Southport definitely has their energy back. We are now 10-7. Big hit by Shea Barrow. Was that touched at the net? They are saying touched at the net. Okay. I thought it was. Big hit by Barrow there. Maybe that'll get a little turnaround going for him. Sounds like the Southport faithful not pleased with that call.
All fans are convinced the refs are biased against their team at all times.
Yep.
Both teams' fans leave every game upset with the refs.
Another solid hit by Barrow, but returned. Cullison that time got blocked. Nice block by McKendry Fisher and Joy Vasquez. They were both right there. Jade Vasquez, sorry.
And that brings the fans up to life a little bit. So,
you know, and again, talking about energy, fans can provide a little boost of energy to the team.
Of course, that's what's such a nice advantage about playing at home, right?
There we go, another one.
There we go. That was a pretty vicious serve, frankly.
Yeah, nice serve. I was watching Cass in the pregame. She had a lot of serves just barely over the net. A little risky because it can go in to the net, but another one going right over, up into the crowd. Cougars now with the lead.
It sounds like the building is being destroyed. Do you know what that is?
That is something the fans will do, that whenever there is an ace, they will stomp their feet on the bleachers. So,
should I worry?
No.
Okay.
Fans being fans, I think. Shea with a little tip.
Beautiful.
Able to put them where they ain't. That's the old phrasing. So.
Yeah, they've put together a few nice sequences here where they aren't forcing it. They're being very patient, but they're being aggressive.
As soon as I had said that Southport had their energy back, the Cougars just
Boom.
going on a run.
Cassidy.
Yeah, Cassidy Abrams, so far, I believe this is a 6-point run.
So after she had trouble returning a couple, she is now returning the favor to them because they can't get a hand on her shots.
And right on cue, into the net.
Well, as you say, I mean, that's just the risk you take. Anybody can only serve so many points in a row. It's just inevitable. But that was worth it. The risk was obviously worth it because she ripped off a string of nice points.
So Cougars now up 2. Let's see how they respond. Good serve by Vasquez to a hit by Fisher. She didn't get all of it, but I think that was to her advantage.
Well, and I'm not sure it wasn't deliberate because it looks to me like they're starting to adjust a little bit. That the Southport team is a little big at the net, and they're doing a little better at not forcing it if it's not there.
Well, if it was intentional, she took a little off, and then right there, Lily Costello's avoid the middleman, get it right back over.
Yeah. Don't wait for all the bumping and setting. Just poke it right to the other team's dead spot.
So, Cardinal coach, her name is Chelsea Hoffman. She's seen something that she wants to discuss with her teammates.
What she's seen is that her team is losing all of a sudden.
She sees now on the scoreboard a 4-point deficit for the Cardinals.
And I think she can see what we're seeing, which is it isn't just the points, that a little of that energy that we've been talking about. Nothing definitive. We don't know who's going to win, but the Cougars have looked better. And she may just as much as anything be stopping the Cougars' run. Call a timeout, make the place go quiet, make them stand still for a minute, see if they can pick it back up again.
Something you see a lot in basketball, that the coach will call a timeout just to kind of stymie the momentum of the other team. With that energy, it's something that can turn quickly. You can have it and you can lose it, and a timeout can take, as they, the phrase, take some wind out of the sails and make it to where it becomes more even as the two teams come out of the timeout.
It does. I mean, with the fans stomping their feet and the Cougars playing well and a little noise in the building, and then all of a sudden it goes silent, changes the energy.
Even the fans lose a little energy on that. Vasquez serve is over. Davis, not the best of sets. That ball was into the net. It most likely hit outside of the antenna that is there, therefore being out.
They do continue to have success with the little dink shots into some of the open spots.
So Cardinals to serve. Barrow kind of in between on that one. Serve out to Costello. Handled by the Cardinals. Right. Goes back to Barrow, kind of then the Cardinals, a little bit error in judgment maybe by Kylie Gibson.
Got a little impatient with that, thought she was going to pull something off like Lily Costello pulled off a couple of points ago and just wasn't in position to do it.
Little noise from the Cougar crowd as our camera goes panning along. Tracy just kind of dinking it back over. Yeah, now we're seeing kind of a game of dinks right now. Both teams kind of finding where the soft spots are in the defense.
Yeah, obviously the front line's got a choice to make. Did they come together to try to block a big spike? And if so, does the other team recognize that? Or did they stay a little bit deeper and wider?
Yeah, it's not as simple as you're going to spike it as hard as you can, although Costello did there. And the defense is going to try to jump and block it. There's lots of strategy and a lot of recognition, as you said, by the person going up. Are they going to spike it into the wall, or are they going to try to go over it?
Lily Costello had a little anger in that one right there. That hurt.
There was some fury. McKendry Fisher, again, looking for a good service run. Not sure a whistle there. Another double hit. I did not see that
Another one of
at
these
all.
mysterious things that you and I will never see if we watch 100 of these games.
Just all of a sudden the whistle blows and a point gets awarded.
Right.
So,
Good for us.
yeah.
Good play, Cougars.
Fisher again.
Hey.
That was a tough serve.
Now the girl on the sideline's not allowed to hit it. I'm sure of it.
No.
That's illegal.
That is the 7th man, as they call it in volleyball.
It's resourceful. You got to admit it, but it's not allowed.
Yeah, maybe they won't notice.
So, you know, that sounded like a double hit to me.
Yeah, that was an odd sounding hit by Vidare, but it wasn't. Again, Lynn Teeter able to put one away. Cougars now comfortable lead, 20-13 here in the second. Definitely in possession of that momentum.
Yeah, because all of the energy and sort of ease that Southport was having in that first game is just gone. Now they're the ones that are missing what seem like relatively straightforward plays.
Right. And Fisher, even with a little bit of hop in her step as she goes to serve. Interesting Southport coach. They get 2 timeouts per game.
Per 25 points.
Per 25 points. Boy,
Woo!
That just called out.
I think it was out, but not by much.
I believe it was the correct call, but man, that was close. That is,
and that's a Bloomington North teacher. Can't she help us out just a little?
You would think.
I mean,
couldn't she blink? I mean, really. Jade Vasquez serve to Teeter. Teeter again off the block. Gets the serve right back for the Cougars. Going to be Lily Costello.
It's very interesting that as imposing as Southport was at the net for a while, they are not showing that at this point. And I don't know if that's because they have gotten into this kind of game of dinks and rallies, but they do not look as powerful either offensively or defensively at this point.
They do not. Again, Cullison not in the game. I find that interesting.
Oh, that was on the way out.
Over to Tracy. Tracy puts a little air underneath
That
it, puts
in.
it right on the line. Boy, that was...
I think she put that right on 2 lines. That was
that
beautiful.
Was very close to being right in the corner. Whatever, it was successful. Cougars up 9, 23-14. In strong control of this division of play.
The subsection of the overall match.
Tracy able to get a good spike on that one. Southport returns, though. Off of Shea Barrow into the scorer's table.
The scorers did not return it.
No. Cullison coming back in. Cullison only a sophomore. So, again, she was quite effective early on. Of course, so was Taylor Storm, and she's not been playing much in this game for the Cougars. Over to Tracy. Tracy, good spike, but return. Nice dink there by Vasquez, but handled, so the dink right back. Lynn Teeter. Boy, Lynn has got the touch tonight.
You know, she doesn't strike with quite the authority that some of the other players do, but they just work. She gets it into awkward places where the other team cannot return it, and that's all that matters.
She doesn't have quite that, you know, athletic leap and reach back and hit that Taylor Storm or Shea Barrow has, but effective is all that matters.
If volleyball were about vertical leaps, we could just test them before the game, and that would be the end of it. Turns out there's more to it than that.
Cougars take game 2, 25-15. So we are all even at 1. I think, as we've been alluding to this whole time, it's just been a game of energy and momentum.
And while you and I can read things into it that may or may not be there, we obviously can't be inside the heads of the players. I'm going to go ahead and say that the senior night hangover that we think was probably part of that first game, much less evident that second game. They look like they've, you know, both literally and figuratively broken a sweat. They're now kind of into it and are playing quite well.
Hey, now we're playing volleyball now.
Yeah, well, their heads are clear. They're just in that moment and not in the previous one.
It's not, oh, it's senior night. Oh, I hope we do well. Oh, conference is on the line. It's, oh, we're playing volleyball. And the teams that can do that, that can separate things from the outside to what they're doing, are the ones that are going to be more successful.
Well, I'll forget the ratio, but Bob Knight used to talk about the ratio of mental to physical. I think it was 4-to-1 or something. But whatever it was, his belief was that within any given level of athletic play, whether it's high school volleyball or Division I basketball, the players are pretty much the same. The question is who can bring it, who can show up and play disciplined, who can play like they've practiced, who can withstand some bad breaks, you know, an injury or a bad call, who can recover from a setback. We've seen a lot of that out of North this year. They have a nice blend of physical talent. They do have some athletic players who can strike it beautifully, but they're not overpowering. That's not how they win. They win like we've seen here by just keeping after it, wearing the other team down.
And they have definitely won more often than not. Again, don't know the exact record, but less than a handful of losses and a whole lot of wins on the season. Again, bouncing back from a season last year that was not as successful as they would have liked, but a whole lot of hard work over the summer. And there is a whole lot to say with a team that, like you said, I mean, they're all nice kids. They're all good students. They get along. I think they, don't know if they have a whole lot in common outside of school, but on the volleyball court, they've got a lot in common of playing good volleyball.
Yeah, I've always liked the body language when they're on the court together. You can read teams that way. They don't seem to me like they're working too hard at it. They're not faking it. There aren't a bunch of cheesy smiles, but there's a good bit of comfort, I think, and they clearly know each other and like each other very well. And as you say, these are players you and I both know from the classroom, many of them multiple times, and these are good students and nice people to be around in addition to good athletes.
So some last-minute instructions from Cardinal assistant coach Ethan Kaufman. Talked to him before the game. They helped me with some pronunciation of names, which is always helpful.
Well, I think he's telling them in this case that they need to score more points. I think that's the pretty big strategy here.
So score more than the other team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds like a winning strategy, but right away it is not working.
This team is not executing their strategy as we have one more point than they do.
Cougars do serve first here in this third game. That's Jade Vasquez with the serve. Cardinals not quite as precise with their passing either. They're not getting it out to the edges.
No, and early on we saw the Cougars misplay a number of fairly straightforward balls. Now we're seeing that out of Southport pretty consistently.
Even a little frustration as they're rolling the ball back under the net, either not happy with themselves or their teammates or something.
Yeah, we're just not seeing that really dominant play at the net at this point.
Boy, a short set for Fisher, and she able to dink that deep, but in the end run, Collison able to hit that one off of Vasquez. Cougars now to serve.
Well, we have twice as many points as they do, so we're doing well.
If we keep that throughout the match, we're in good shape.
At 2-1, we have doubled their score. That's very impressive.
Barrow with a big spike.
Very impressive.
Dig. And then Wright splits the defenders. And just like that, they've tied us.
Right, and with a little bit more of the thunder we saw early on.
Yeah.
They'd like to keep that up. North would like to keep them off balance as they had for most of the last set.
Play by Abram to Vasquez. Then Fisher tries to dink. No good. Big hit there, Tiana Wright. Shea Barrow, just as big of a hit, but just the ball happens to go back over the net. So Lily Costello puts that one off of a Cardinal.
Credit where credit's due. That was a fantastic dig by the Southport player. Yes, a little lucky in that the ball came to her, but nonetheless, that thing had heat on it.
That was Kirsten Whitlock, I believe. Shea Barrow with the serve. Nice set, left-handed hit there. Little behind Costello, she got under it. But again, a smile. Hey, I mishit that one. Not a big show of,
not hanging her head.
So angry. Oh, look at me, I'm mad. It just, yep. Mishit that one. Let's jump back and play again. Barrow to Vasquez. Almost put her into the net. Tracy able to get it over. Southport on a free ball, gets it back over. Fisher with that big sweeping play. Abram there, and then Costello dinks it in. That was a nice play, all three elements of that. Abram getting to it, Fisher then putting it back, and Costello putting it away.
Yeah, although North is being drawn slowly back into a power game at the net. Still want to be careful about.
Boy. anymore. There's no such thing as a let serve. If it hits the net and goes over, it's live.
Speaking of your power game at the net.
Yeah, boy, just enough to put that over. McKendry Fisher serving for now a 5-3 lead. Vasquez, Teeter. Not sure if that was touched. They're saying no.
Well, Teeter touched it.
Well, good point. Someone had to. Otherwise, the ball would just sit there.
Yeah, if that thing changed direction in midair all by itself, then we've got a miracle of sorts.
Wonderfully not played.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a recipe for trouble. So we're all tied up at 5 here in the third. 1 apiece for the two teams.
The third what? We are still not sure.
Third
something.
Game set.
Stanza.
That one goes long. That'd be interesting. The Cougars take the stanza.
Inning. In curling, they call them ends.
Well, here they call them either a game or a set. We're not sure. That was not going to be successful.
Yeah, she hit that the wrong direction.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
pretty sure.
A wild swing at the ball, hoping for the best. Costello serving. Cougars up 2. Trying to get a run going here. With volleyball, once you get a decent-sized lead, it is difficult for the other team to come back. There again, another miss hit on a set, giving the Cougars now.
And early on, we talked about some of those awkward timed or spaced shots at the net were going against the Cougars. Some of those have now gone against Southport.
Right, in the course of a match, that's going to happen. That ball, though, spiked. Shea Barrow tried to get a bump on it, could not.
Yeah, that wasn't awkward. It just shot into the stands, and that was the end of it.
Hit where she tried to do all she could, but it went in a direction she did not want it. She on her right now going to serve. Cardinals down 8-6. Joy Tracy able to put something on it.
Lovely.
Vidare going after it, unable to get under it. Always you see the valiant effort of the player running, trying to get it, just hoping to hit it closer back behind them to the net to let their teammates do something with it. Into the game again, freshman Blakely Freeman going to serve. Able to get it up and over, a little dink play. Shea Barrow ready for it. Jade Vasquez tries the same. Cullison, though, able to come up and over. She has got a powerful spike. I'm surprised they don't utilize her more. Vidare now to serve for the Cardinals. Freeman to Vasquez. Back row hit by Costello. Again, now the break's going the Cougars' way for sure.
Got to have them.
In the course of a match, you are going to see things go both ways. Very rarely does everything go one team's way. Like we've said, it's how you handle it. Abram putting it right in the net. That's not a way to handle it. Cougars maintain that 2-point lead. Serving now 14, that's Vanessa Miller, a sophomore. Abram to Vasquez, out to Barrow, able to put it, but Vidare puts it. There we go. Had the block, then there we go, McKendry Fisher. Sometimes the game moves too fast and I can't keep up. So a little back and forth going on here. Let's see if the Cougars can hold serve for a while. It's Jade Vasquez going to serve. Junior.
Yeah, this is a game that that both teams will have to really dig out, because the winner of this one, likely going to win the whole thing.
This is a critical game. Get that 2-1 advantage going in. Try to win that last one. The fourth game to end it.
Yeah, nothing is certain, but you'd sure rather be up 2-1 than down 2-1.
For sure. Outside set to Costello. Right from the back row. Vasquez to Abram. A little free ball there for Barrow to hit at the net. Tough play by Fisher, but she did a nice job, and then Barrow puts it over. Set to the outside. Costello got a piece of it. Nice effort by Cassidy Abram. Nice and somewhat dangerous.
Yeah, it looked to me like her head might have hit the ground a little bit right there, but she sure came close.
She did a nice job of diving and spinning, but unable to come up with it. Cougars up 12-9. Freeman, Fisher able to get it over. That's right, puts it into the Cougar blockers and down the front of the net in front of them. So 2-point game. Costello, but returned by Southport, right to Barrow. Vasquez and Fisher. Fisher able to put it right in on the line.
It's a couple she's put over that direction. Nicely done.
Yet again, not seeing Taylor Storm in the game. Didn't really see her last game, and then not at all this one. Cougars, though, halfway there, up 13-10. Barrow to serve. This is not unusual. There's been times that Taylor has missed some of a match for whatever reason. Personally, I think it's just energy level, and she is a shorter player who does get up high. She might just need some time to recharge the batteries. Kira Brinson going to come in for fellow senior Shea Barrow. Maggie Davis, a senior for Southport, serving. Cross court set to Joy Tracy. She gets it over. Tiana Wright puts it right into the corner, making us with a 1-point game, 13-12.
She has scored a lot of points.
She is also a senior.
I'm glad she's not coming back.
Yes. Her final trip to North Gymnasium. That will go long. Rachel Dean hits that one long.
Yeah, that's who we want to come back next year.
She's a junior.
Good.
She is welcome. Although next year we'll be playing at Southport, but anyway.
She's welcome there too.
So McHenry Fisher to serve.
Let her go.
Brinson able to get onto it, but just defensively puts it up in the air. Fisher unable to get under it. So we've again now seeing some back and forth serving. This one's Rachel Davis. Lynn Teeter puts it right in. Boy, looking at both the line judges called that in. I think that's another one that was right in the corner.
So after the first two games were pretty handily won by the various sides, now we've got one that's going to, at least for the moment, looks like it's going to go down to the last couple of points.
Yeah, it was the other two, the first two, yeah, there was a bit of a lead pulled out too, and then it stayed pretty steady. This one they've traded back and forth. Abram, Vasquez with the set. That's Joy Tracy. Good dig out though, but again, I think that hit something high up, and Vidare unable to get back under it. Break for the Cougars and a 3-point lead.
We should hit it off that basketball goal as often as possible.
Yeah, should make them do it. Costello serve.
Man.
Nice sinking serve there.
Vicious.
There's the boom of the feet slamming for the spike. We're going to have a timeout called by the Cardinals, probably a wise timeout.
Yeah, it's by no means over, but you don't want to wake up and find yourself down 20-13 without at least trying to stop the run.
So it's 17-13 now, Cougars. As we said, an all-important third match here, or third game set, to get the lead, take a little pressure off, allow you to play a little looser. Don't want to be too tense.
Yeah, this is like a basketball or baseball playoff series. The winner of Game 3 has just this overwhelming advantage going forward.
Right. And pressure does things to athletes. Most of your elite athletes can handle it, but a lot of people, a little bit of pressure makes them make a little bit of a different decision, a little tentative on their movements, and any kind of hesitation can lead to bad things for athletes. Costello gets it over, comes right back to her. Teeter, again, she just had good things happen when she's hit the ball. Out to Tracy, able to hit it off the net, but not off a Southport player. Does bring back into the game Lauren Cullison. She's been a big hitter for them. Comes in with the Cardinals down 3.
So, at least superficially, it appears the timeout did what it was supposed to.
Little momentum block. So, Tiana Wright is the server. Costello, DeVasquez back behind her to Teeter. Not the best of set there for the Cardinals. Costello dinks it right in over the block. She had Rachel Dean right there in front of her and put it up and over her.
I could see her eyes from here. I could see her looking directly at the open spot behind the defender. She knew just what she meant to do with that.
That is, you know, it's like obviously something that they work on. It's not something you just show up and do. Oh, tough play there. Unfortunate for the Cardinals. Rachel Dean there kind of watching the ball, turns to see where it's going to land, and it hit the net and landed right behind her.
Yes, by unfortunate for the Cardinals, you mean well played by the Cougars.
Well, of course, totally meant to be done by Blakely
Good strategy
Freeman.
by Blakely.
Oh, just out. So with that missed serve, though, it's still 19-15 Cougars. Vidare with the serve. Vasquez sets to Shea Barrow, who's able to go cross court, keeping it in, getting to the Cougars for that 20th point.
That is at least 3 times in this game / set that we have gone cross court to that corner and found it open. So whether that is just a coincidence or something that has been seen by the Cougars, I don't know.
Cassidy Abram, though, puts it right into the net. She's, of all the Cougars, I think she's got the serve that gets consistently closest to the net. And like you said, law of averages, it's going to sometimes go and hit into the net. Little miscommunication there in the backcourt. Yeah, 2 quick points for the Cardinals.
That serve right there was not a good time for that.
No. There we go. Costello takes control, calls for it. And McKendry Fisher able to tip it right over. The equivalent of throwing a changeup in baseball, where just throwing that timing off. They're expecting one thing, you do something else. Can really pay off. Cougars up 4. Right from the back row. Vasquez, Shea Barrow going across court yet again. Vidare got something on it, but not enough. Cougars now up 5, 22, and Cardinals going to take another timeout.
Yeah, I won't claim to be expert enough at volleyball to note how Southport is rotating their defense, but it's been too common for us to find a cross-court opening in the back right of their side for that to be coincidence.
Yeah, for us to keep finding that, they need to talk that over. And I think the coach wise move using this timeout, you might as well, with this being a critical game. Yeah, the odds are against you with the Cougars only needing 3 more points, up 5, 22-17. But if Southport can mount a run and come back and win this one, puts them in good shape.
Yeah, and so, you know, the missed serve a moment ago was at a very critical time and could have been the kind of thing that derailed the momentum, but as the cliche goes in sports, a bad memory is a great thing in an athlete, and not just any particular player who makes a mistake, but just anybody on the side of a team that has something not go their way. Got to play the next play.
Yeah, if your mind's on the last play, you're putting yourself in trouble. Kind of a defensive hit by Wright there. Shea Barrow, kind of like you kind of could tell they talked it over, and she decided this time to go down the line. Unfortunately, the block able to go and then land just on the line, so a point for the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals are not going to go away. They could still come back and win this one.
Abram to Vasquez, and then Fisher unable to get it over. Yeah, that one she hit into the net off of a Cardinal player, not hitting the Cardinal player directly, so therefore the next hit was the 4th hit. No touch legally by the Cardinals. Then a long serve going over by Kirsten Whitlock.
She's trying to earn 2 points with that serve.
Yeah, that was a home run. Joy Tracy back into the game. Shea Barrow to serve. Cougars needing 2 points. Couple of rough plays there by Whitlock.
That was 3 kind of miss hits in a row, it looked like.
Yeah,
just couldn't quite get that ball under control.
Her serve was bad, and then she did not bump it well, and set by the teammate went the wrong direction. So here at game point for the Cougars, Abram to Vasquez, then to Joy Tracy. Returned by Whitlock.
Well done by Shea.
Dug out by Cher. Goes outside there to Lily Costello off of a Cardinal for that 25th point. A little confusion there whether it was touched. It was clearly touched. So Cougars going to take game 3, 25-19, leading now 2-1.
Well, that's good play by them. That's good mental toughness to come back from a first game when they were a little out of sorts and kind of got handled, frankly, to come back and then blow the team out in the second match, or the second set rather, and then to win a tough one, kind of a point-by-point fight to the end. Very impressive.
Yeah, we've really seen 3 different games or sets as they have, again, Cardinals in control of the first one. Cougars come out, take control of the second one. That one was a bit of a back and forth, and then Cougars grind that one out.
And I'm really interested in not only how different the point totals have been and who's won and in what manner, but the fact that in that first game, Southport looked so physically imposing, both offensively and defensively. We were not getting many kills in that game. They were getting plenty, and they've got a couple of players that look like they might just be physically, hard for us to handle. We've seen much less of that in the 2 games since then.
Yeah, watching that first game, Lauren Cullison, the sophomore, number 10, really looked like she was going to be a dominant force, that anytime she was on the court, they could just feed her and she could just spike it home all the time. We really haven't seen much out of her since. Now, again, as you said, we don't know a whole lot about volleyball, but we do, again, got thrown off my train of thought there, but just by observing, I lost it. I don't know where I'm going. So.
Well, what I'll say is we saw some of the same thing against Bloomington South, because Bloomington South is very physically imposing. And the first couple of games, it looked like we could be in for a long night. Like that, we might just not physically be able to keep up with it. But obviously, over the course of a 5-set match or a 5-game set, or however we term it, North was able to neutralize that physical advantage that South had, and they've done it again here tonight.
Right. So whatever it is that we've done to do that is successful. Again, we are here on senior night, class of 2018, as we are having the last home game for 6 of our players. Cassidy Abram, who next year will go on to Indiana State University. She wants to become a pilot. Shea Barrow, who has been involved in many activities here at North, is going to go to college, not sure where. That's the thing with the fall athletes. Many of them have just not made that decision quite yet, or have applied many places and haven't decided where to go. Kira Brinson, also undecided on the college, but wants to become an RN or an occupational therapist. Lily Costello has decided on a college, going to go way out west to Northern Arizona University, going to study psychology and criminal justice with a plan on going to law school. McKendry Fisher, she is undecided but wants to study psychology and also continue her volleyball playing career. And finally, Joy Tracy, who also, so all 6 will be attending college in the future. Undecided on the school, and then she didn't really list anything that she was going to be studying. But
Joy Tracy, one of Bloomington North Wells Scholar nominees, so just one indication from many of what a talented group of students this is.
No doubt that she will go on somewhere and be successful. If it is at IU with a Wells Scholarship, that's
it's a big deal.
That is a huge, huge deal. Quite the honor.
Just being nominated for an award like that puts her in pretty elite company.
So we're going to start now game 4. Cardinals to serve first. That is Davis with the serve, but McKendry Fisher with a big spike off of Whitlock for the first point for the Cougars.
Yeah, that looked more like we're used to seeing them. Very relaxed, very purposeful.
Shea Barrow now to serve. Kind of a free ball, they call it, when they don't spike it over. Fisher again. They're calling that touched. Cardinal coach asking who touched it, and I got to say I have the same question. Probably going to talk this over. Going to ask the line judge whether she definitely saw a touch or thought she saw one.
I did not see a defender touch the ball.
We're going to go with decision is made that it was touch, so point to the Cougars. Shea Barrow to serve. That one looked like it was going long and then just dove down. Kind of a knuckleball serve there. Substitution. Well, I thought they marked that in. I must have misread her signal on that. I thought she was marking that in. You can review the tape and prove me wrong on that. So Lily Costello, though, bringing some order back to the game with a good hard spike. Sending McKendry Fisher back to serve.
One of the things that I wonder about the Cougars and their ability to win the longer points and to win longer matches is their conditioning.
Yeah.
If maybe they are simply better conditioned physically or perhaps are a little deeper than their teams. I've not counted the number of subs for both teams, but they do seem to be able to stay very physically fresh longer than the other teams.
Cougars have played, I believe, 9-10 players tonight. Southport, not sure. Kind of see one of the Southport players laying on the lap of another player, though, so she seems a little tired.
I don't think she's coming back in.
I do know that some of the volleyball practices over the summer lasted quite a long time. Talks of like 8 hours worth of practice on a day in the summer, which will definitely get your conditioning up. Lynn Teeter able to go cross court. Cardinal coach yelling words of encouragement there. She, I think, didn't like the outcome, but liked what they were trying to do there. Costello to serve. Cougars up 4-2.
Another very nice serve.
Tough return there for number 3. That's Rachel Davis. She's not able to get over and make the play. Costello's serve. Another good one to the back corner. Right, hit by Abram. Abram probably made the right call. That might have gone out, but I think it was going to stay in.
And unfortunately for Lily Costello, this is not volleyball, so
right.
You know, the ability to bounce it off that back wall and back into play wasn't going to help.
Which would have been impressive.
It would have been cool.
Joy Tracy. Nice play by Wright trying to get to it, but then not a good set off of that by the Cardinals.
Yeah, there again, another one of those awkwardly placed balls that just came down on the wrong part of the net for anybody to do anything with. Many of those have gone against Southport over the last couple of games.
So freshman Blakely Freeman in to serve. Nice serve.
Killer serve.
Just unable to be handled by Cardinals' Tiana Wright.
Smokes one over the back line.
Cougars already up 4. Good serve. Gadare gets it over. Teeter. Kind of, oh boy, Lily Costello.
With the three-point shot.
As they say, got all of that one. That would have cleared the bases. So Cougars up 7-4. Shea Barrow encouraging her teammates. Jade Vasquez off to Barrow. Barrow hit that one into the net, not off of a Southport player, so then when she bumped it again, that was the fourth touch. Cougars again in good position here, 2-point lead right now. They are up 2-1. Can just focus on executing, making their plays, make Southport be the ones who have to stretch, work a little harder. Although, well, that was one where Jade Vasquez did the set, but put it in no man's land where no one could get to it.
That was a you got it.
Yeah.
And nobody got it.
It's always tough when you hear someone else yelling yours.
Yeah.
Kind of a serve right to the middle, handled by Freeman. Then Lynn Teeter tries to dink it over, dinks it again. Boy, attempted block. Cougars kind of a little out of sorts here.
Yeah, that time that awkwardly spaced ball worked against us.
So we're going to see Taylor Storm now coming back in. Comes in for Shea Barrow. Shea began the year with an injury and did not play the first few games. Was really chomping at the bit to get out there and get playing, and was very happy once she did. Cougars played well in her absence. A nice play again by Cullison. I think that situation kind of served the Cougars well to begin the season without arguably one of their best players, and had to learn to play without her, so that when she came back, playing with her was just a bonus.
I think you're entirely right for the good of the team. I am equally certain that Shea would not agree with you.
No.
Shea wanted to play.
Shea wanted to get out there.
In fact, Shea might actually, spike a ball at your head for saying that.
Yeah, so. I wouldn't doubt it. And she sits close to me in class that she probably could do that. So I wouldn't even see it coming.
Fortunately for me, she sits at the other end of my class, but nonetheless, I don't want her mad at me.
No. Yeah, there was one game where she didn't play, and I asked when she was ready to come back, and her response was last game.
Right.
So
I think I had that same conversation, and then I stopped asking.
Right. Definitely a fire in her eyes there. Cullison able to drop that one in to the open area. So Cardinals have actually come back, taking the lead on this game, 8-9.
They're leading 8-9.
9-8, 8-9, whatever. The assumption is they are the ones with the more points.
Okay.
There's Taylor Storm, who hasn't been in the game, and puts that one away.
That did touch someone.
Yes, for sure.
And not just her, a defender.
Not sure what the student section was chanting on that one, but pretty impressive for Taylor to come in off the bench. Hadn't played for a while. Watching her, though, in the game the whole time, focused, cheering, staying in it, waiting just for her opportunity. This one's going to be Costello dinking it right where they're not.
Taylor is a quiet person, and I'm sure she is disappointed that she's not playing more in a game like this, but I think she really likes volleyball. I think she really likes her team and her teammates, and I am certain that she will stay, as you say, focused and with a good attitude no matter what happens.
She's a lot like Shea Barrow with that just kind of quiet fire inside that you just know she's a competitor, wants to win, and isn't going to be one of those, yeah, but I'm not playing. It's, all right, what do we need to do to win? And when she gets her chance, she's going to make the most of it. Abram out to Costello off of the Vasquez set. Tough play by Wright, kind of changed direction on her. Now there's Storm. Cardinals able to get it over. Let's see what the Cougars can do with it. Vasquez set in the middle to Fisher. Kind of a pinball effect there, but Wright puts it. Freeman couldn't get it going forward. Ends up falling harmlessly behind her.
A long rally the Cougars did not win.
So Cardinals then back up by one. Couple of sets, then Fisher put that one right away. Cardinal players are, they have not lost their fun spirit. A play right there, the ball came and was spiked and hit someone pretty hard and then went right off to another player and hit her hard. And they had a quick laugh about it and now back ready to play. There we go, Storm serve.
As you were talking about, though, even the players in the bench, you know, they have had a little bit kind of a comic air about them. It's what I saw in the pregame. It's clear that this is the culture that they have cultivated on purpose. And it's different than the typical thing, but there's not a thing wrong with it.
Right, whatever works is what you've got to find that for your team. I've had teams that were very serious. I've had teams that joked a lot. Another double hit.
Yeah, the point is to show up prepared to play. How you get there, there's a million ways to do that. You can be very serious about it. Although, as you say, if you try to impose weightiness and seriousness on players who are more lighthearted, or the reverse, if you try to joke with players who are more businesslike, either way, you're not giving them their best chance. So,
I remember having a pitcher that I just always would tell my pitchers, hey, you know, throw strikes, which is, you know, a blatantly obvious thing she's supposed to do. I had one player just look me right in the eye and go, yeah, no kidding. To which it was like, okay, she's one who doesn't need that kind of reminder. Right. She's business. She knows what to do. Kind of leave me alone. But she was one of the best pitchers that has come through North. So.
Yeah, I've coached a lot of youth sports, and I realize that it's a very different level of competition, but it's still a competition, and I always found that a bit of lightheartedness helps keep the energy. Well, it's like teaching, you know. I mean, you can be serious, and there are things worth being serious about, but if it's all serious all the time, I think you lose players and students or anyone else you're leading.
Nice spike there by Lily Costello, putting the Cougars back up, too. Yeah, of course, I mean, as we've seen in the classroom, a little levity can really loosen people up and people perform better when it's not all tension and it's not all seriousness.
Yeah, I have no problem with the Southport team joking or slouching or any of the things they're doing over there because they're playing good volleyball.
Right. This has been a very good match. That play right there, Joy Tracy kind of got caught in the middle. She was even did like a double hesitation to jump up and spike it as it came over and then decide to bump it, and by that point ended up mishitting it out of bounds. Another serve that just kind of died right in front of Cassidy Abram. That's a very helpless feeling. Nothing Cassidy can do on that. I mean, you think the ball is going to come all the way to you, but it bounces in front, and very helpless feeling as it does so.
Yeah, see the Southport coaches over there laughing even now.
Right in the midst of a 14-all game with here in the fourth. Her team down one game.
Beautiful.
Nice bump there. Lynn Teeter. Again, Lynn her success rate has been impressive.
And it's almost always when she hits it to someone who then misplays it. She very rarely just puts it away. But she's making it difficult for the other team to do anything with it.
Like hard to judge the ball right at you. Hit very hard and goes out. Rachel Davis kind of, after she hit that, kind of had that look of, well, I hit that a little hard, didn't I?
She was correct.
So Lily Costello, Cougars up 2. Good serve, came over. Nice dig, though. Vasquez serves it outside to Teeter, off of the block of Rachel Dean.
Yeah, the timing was not as good on that one as it has been on some. Lynn couldn't quite get into that one the way she has some others.
So 1 point ball game. Vidare now serving for Southport.
Ball game now, so.
It is. Vasquez sets for Teeter. Teeter, good timing on that one. Those free balls that are just not much of a threat coming over. Tracy hits it just long, and we're all tied up. Cougars would very much like to end it here, obviously. Don't want to go to that 5th game where anything can happen.
Yeah, and yet they've got to stay cool about that. They just got to play, you know, this point by point without any sense of, you know, pressure or anxiety or concern about what's going to happen on down the road. They just got to play every point as best they can.
Yeah, any kind of panic.
Look at that.
Nice play by Taylor Storm. Good dive, but equally as good play by Maggie Davis, finding the hole on the opposite side there. Boy, Taylor Storm come diving in. You hear that noise of skin on floor. That's just not a pleasant noise to hear.
It's amazing that they don't get hurt more often than they do.
So Cardinals now up 1. Vidare's serve. Joy Tracy able to hit it, but hits it long. Might be time for a timeout for the Cougars. Coach Brandenburg, though, has kind of had the consistent mentality of, you know what, let them figure it out. See if they can change it. She'll call a timeout if she needs to. At this point, she feels she doesn't. Teeter able to put that one up, but blocked straight back down. Now she wants the timeout.
Yeah, I'd say this will be the time.
For sure, a 3-point game. Cardinals only 6 points away at 19. But if the Cougars can get a little momentum, get right back in this game.
Yeah, that's one of those coaching decisions that there's just no formula for. It was arguable that she should have made the timeout 1 point earlier, because you could feel that coming. But had they won the point, then obviously it would have all worked out different.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's really that thing. And as always, hindsight being 20/20, they can, since it is arguable, people will say, oh, well, she should have, knowing what happened. But by not calling the timeout, if the Cougars get the point, then it's a quick momentum shift and they can have it. Now, again, kind of a reset. Get everybody back to a level that was.
And you can see the Southport players. They're down there making funny faces and joking around. It's just the demeanor of their team. Very different than we've seen anybody this year. Ooh.
No doubt Cougars have more on the line than the Cardinals do, what with the conference championship. Nice play there. That was just a ball that could not get handled. So Cougars come out of the timeout getting a point.
So as with the Southport timeout earlier that halted a Cougar run, we call a timeout that stops a Cardinal run.
So that's Freeman's serve. But Davis again able to put one in. Cardinals now at 20.
So we're getting down to it now. They're going to have to win a point or two here to keep themselves in this.
Teeter, a quick whistle. Double hit yet again. Trying to check Twitter to get maybe a South score. Found out the Bloomington North tennis team advances, beating Greensburg High School 4-1. Gets that ball over. Vasquez to Teeter. Teeter able to, again, hit it right off of him, and just good things happen for the Cougars.
I don't know if she puts some kind of spell on the ball or just what it is, but the other team just can't do anything with it.
So here comes Cassidy Abram. 3-point deficit for the Cougars. Boy, she put that rolls along the net.
Right down the net.
Just long enough to then fall out of bounds. So.
And no complaining about it.
Nope. That is something that's going to happen.
Ooh, that's 3 for Cassidy.
Not a good time to do it either.
Yeah. You and I have talked about this, that there are some points in the game where just getting the ball over the net is so critical that maybe you give up the hard serve. But that has happened a couple of times as well, where they've given it right back.
Which, boy, that is a frustrating thing to.
Yeah, that's a killer for Southport.
So now it gets the Cougars right back in it, 20-22. Critical point here, and Fisher puts it away.
Bang.
Now you got a 1-point game. Cougars serving.
Yeah, she read that and was up on it early.
Cardinals were not able to put up any defense to that.
Nothing they could do to that.
So Vasquez, a miss hit, and now we're tied. Momentum quickly shifting now to the Cougars.
Here comes a young volleyball fan right now. And by that I mean a 2-year-old approaching Mr. Aiken and I.
Oh, here he is, okay. Wearing his superhero shirt. So checking a Twitter for any indication on how South is doing. Didn't find anything. Looking at the standings right now, North is 5-1. Columbus North is 3-1. So Columbus North needs to win out just for a share of the conference title if the Cougars can hold on here.
Yeah, worth pointing out that North's loss was to Columbus North.
Okay.
And interestingly, I realize that they're biased, but I've talked to a number of the players, and they are unanimous and I think sincere in saying they're better than Columbus North, and Columbus North isn't really that great a team. They are all very sure that South will beat Columbus North.
Well,
they say they just had a bad night.
Those happen in the course of a season. Do see the North girls soccer team did fall to Terre Haute North 3-1 in sectional play. So the very successful season for girls soccer after what had happened last year with only 2 wins, but it sadly ends tonight in sectional play. But back here with volleyball, Cougars able to get a run going here. Costello, Vidare back. The spike, little off balance there for Davis, but able to put it away. And we've got a 1-point game again. Puts it in the hands of senior Maggie Davis.
These are the points you have to just play literally and mentally one at a time.
Bump by Abram to Vasquez, set down the middle to Fisher. Blocked Costello. Vasquez now Storm with a dink. Wright gets it over. Abram, Vasquez, now Costello into the net. Storm able to dig it out. Costello then puts it deep, but just out. Boy, that ball looked like it might roll over and land on the line. It did not. Cougars now in a situation the Cardinals have game point. Storm to Fisher. Costello dinks it in, but dug out by the Cardinals. Pushed deep. Abram, Vasquez, now Costello off the block. No one home. We're heading to game 5. So what we will have, we're going to have now game 5. We'll go to 15. Bit of a time here. They're going to have a meeting of the captains, a coin flip, determine who will get to serve. They also get to choose which side they want to have their bench on. Typically, they stay in the same place. So it's now going down here at the front of the scorer's table. We've got, looks like Cougars will get the serve. Cougars to serve. Nope. Sorry. He did the wrong indication. It's going to be Southport with the serve.
Well, someone's going to serve.
Someone has to serve. It won't be one of us. That's just silly. Update for IU men's soccer as well off Twitter, as IU is up ahead of Evansville 1-0. The #1 ranked soccer Hoosiers.
And future home of Bloomington North's Andrew Goldsworthy, current home of former Cougar Jeremiah Gutjahr.
Yeah, North's had a few players that have gone on to play at IU, which, yes, it's your hometown school, but man,
it's the #1 program in the country. That doesn't matter.
It is the collegiate soccer powerhouse over the years. And so, yeah, quite an honor for Andrew, just a junior, to have verbally committed to go to IU.
As you know, I once stood in goal and tried to keep him from scoring. I was unsuccessful.
And I think he was taking it easy on you.
And he was barefoot. And his dad was openly laughing at me while he was doing it.
As well he should. So we're going to now head to game 5 very exciting match. They've been even. We've talked momentum shifts all night long, and that's what's been happening. They've one team gets a little bit ahead, the other team able to stop that momentum, gain some of their own. Typically, it's been in the middle of the game, one of the team pulls away. That last one, neither one able to pull a big lead. Southport got ahead, but then it was tied at 22. But unfortunately, that's where the Cougars stayed, and Southport got the next 3 points.
Yeah, full credit to both teams. Both have come back from some setbacks and some stretches of not so great play. Find ourselves in a tiebreaker here because they've both managed to fight back.
So Cardinals will be the ones serving first. Again, this is a sprint to 15. Little confusion.
As we see on the court, we've got Vasquez, Barrow, Abram, Storm, Costello, and Fisher.
The original starting lineup back on the court, I think for the first time in a while. When Storm came in is when Barrow went out last game. Now they've got them all back on the court. It is going to be Cullison to serve for the Cardinals. Abram able to hit it up. Tough play to Costello, though. She's able to push it over. Nicely played. Wright. Oh, that was unfortunate, but Barrow quickly reacting. Davis, though, now at the end of the night, I'm missing names. All right, that's Tiara Wright who was able to slam that one home for the first point. Cullison serve number 2. Bumped by Storm. Kind of miscommunication there again. She kind of cut in front of Abram. Cougars just come out a little shaky. And we're going to have a substitution. Joy Tracy coming in for Taylor Storm. This is definitely a match you don't want to lose control of. Fisher. That's right. Boy, she put it right into the corner. Cardinal quickly up 3-0.
Well, 5 seniors and a junior on the court for the Cougars, so this is the group that ought to be able to withstand this if we have one.
Yeah, not what they wanted to see happen for sure. Cullison, that she serves long, giving a little bit of a momentum maybe to the Cougars. So now 3-1, Shea Barrow to serve. Drops that one in. Davis, nice play by Vasquez, set by Costello. Abram just going to bump it over. Wright with a big spike, blocked by Fisher. Push back Abram, see what the Cougars can do. Fisher unable to do it. Abram hits it, but that's going to go into the crowd. Heck of an effort on those kind of plays. They're just trying to do all they can to move the ball back towards the net. But so hard to do as you're off balance running, trying to hit that ball behind you. Cardinal up 4-1. Short serve, that time dug out by Abram. Tracy with a dink finds a nice opening for the Cougars' second point, 4-2.
That was well timed for the Cougars. They needed that.
So McKendry Fisher hopefully can go on a bit of a scoring run here.
That was a good serve.
That was, puts the Cardinals, forcing them to put a weak play over. And then Costello, wow, that was wide. Thought maybe that was tip, but not touch. So
yeah, that was that shot that she's made a number of over the course of the night to the back right court of the Cardinals, but couldn't find the range.
Hit that with a little extra oomph, maybe hitting it long. So Cardinals in control now, 5-2. Again, this one only goes to 15. Tracy able to dink that one in as well. Put a little more on it.
It is senior.
It is like a pitcher with their change of pace. And, yeah, a senior.
Keeping her composure. not forcing things that aren't there.
Yeah, doesn't matter how, it just matters whether you get the point.
Well, she's keeping her eyes open and her wits about her.
Cougars down 3, Kalili Costello serving. A little flustered on that one, puts that one in the net. That is a rough situation to have that happen.
Well, Southport has responded by firing their own right into the net a number of times. We could hope for that again.
Let's see if right returns the favor.
But you can't count on that. You got to win the point, so.
Substitution taking Costello out, a little frustrated with herself, so Coach Brandenburg brings her out. Wright got it over. Vasquez sets out to Tracy, who's been successful.
Boy,
and
Tracy
she is again
carrying the Cougars in this final period.
She's got 3 of their 4 points, and she's going to go back to serve.
Notice how I called it a period now?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. It's another one.
At least we can't call them quarters.
No.
In this 5th.
Can we call them quinters since it's,
well, we ended up going 5.
Right.
Lynn Teeter just long. So little things not going the Cougars' way, and it translates to a 7-4 deficit.
Yeah, and in these settings, every point is in effect 2 points. It's one you don't have and one they do, and
right.
We would like to be down 6-5 right now instead of 7-4.
That is the rally scoring change in the game. Shea Barrow able to put a hard hit on, but
no.
Boy, that was very unfortunate. Things are definitely not going the Cougars' way now.
That was yet another one of those awkwardly placed balls that just dropped over the front of our net.
That pretty much forced Coach Brandenburg's hand to call this timeout. They got to talk things over, have a little discussion about, hey, it's not over. We're in this still. Yes, it's 8-4, but we can still come back from this.
Yeah, it is by no means over. This is just a matter of playing it point by point. Just win the next one.
Yeah, all that matters is the next point.
You can't win 11 on this next one. You can't win 4 and get tied.
Right.
You can just win 1.
A big spike doesn't count for any more.
No.
So little extra words for Shea Barrow. It is one of those things. You think as seniors, wow, well, they know so much. Well, they're still just high school students,
17 or 18 years old.
They have not learned everything about the game.
Well, and even pro athletes need support from their coaches. Remind them what's going on. Give them a little, pep talk. That's normal.
Boy, big play there by the freshman. Freeman coming up from the back row, but Southport able to find the opening. Coach Brandenburg looking for a lineup that can stem the tide, but each time the Cardinals get 1 point closer.
Well, they have really scored a lot of points on those plays tonight. We just have not been able to keep the back line closed up.
So here we go again. Big spike. Cardinals in control. They're feeling it. Boy, they have come back big time, coming back to win game 4 and now firmly in control. Tough play. Nice job by Lynn Teeter, but delayed the inevitable there.
Yeah, she did all she could just to get it over, but all that did was set it up for just a dead kill.
Here's a situation where, again, calling a timeout here, you're going to have to give the same speech you just gave the last time.
Yeah, they just need to play the points at this point.
Here comes Shea Barrow with a little dink. Interesting play there. A Southport player had dived to where it was going to be, but her frontline teammate had tipped it in the air and put it where she had been. All right, we're going to need a good service run here from Cassidy Abram. Obviously, the first serve, the only one that matters. Able to get that in. Wright hits it over. Abram, Vasquez set. Fisher able to put something on. A little errant there out to Barrow. Put a nice hit on it. Right from the back row. Tracy, good dig. Fisher. Boy, that one right back on the line. Southport feeling it.
And, well, make no mistake, they're playing very well, but, everything's going their way. Every ball is dropping just where they want it.
It happens, and that's why you don't want to get to that 5th game. That 5th game, anything can happen. And what's happened is Southport to a quick 12-5 lead. They are 3 points away. Shea Barrow gets it over. Here's Cullison. Hits it just long. So still alive. Costello going to come in for Freeman.
Now, Cassidy on her last serve took a big chance with a hard low serve that barely made it over. I'm interested that they continue trying that when at this point they really need the ball just to get over.
Right. Oh, miss hit there by Davis. Breaks it down 7-12. Yeah, at this point, the servers for the Cougars, they've got to get it over.
Yeah. Aces are great, but
yeah, ball in the net
an ace doesn't do as much good as a ball in the net does harm.
Fisher able to put that back up. Barrow, well hit.
Look at this.
So now it's 8-12. Now the Cardinal coach with a bit of a decision. She's going to keep it going.
Jay just got to keep this thing in play.
Good serve. Set at the net. Collison hits it off the antenna. Momentum firmly switching back. She's going to call that timeout. All right, she was looking at the referee. So now she's got to have the discussion. Hey, we're 3 points away. Let's calm down. Just, again, 1 point at a time. Don't be thinking about point 15.
You're not about to win. It's not. That's not even on their horizon at this
right.
moment. Point number 13 is.
Right. The only thing to think about is the next one. Cougars now have to be, excited, use that momentum, but keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, they can't score 6 points in this next one.
Right.
I suspect that if I was in the huddle, I'd say to Jade, just get it over the net.
Yep. Jade, you serve it over, and then we'll make
go
it
from
work.
there. Yeah.
But step one is ball over net.
There's the kind of a cliche in sports these days where people refer to hero ball, where someone tries to do something outside their normal capabilities or win the big thing on some heroic play. We don't need any hero ball.
Right. That fails more often than not. Nice hit by Vasquez, a little bit off, so Costello, though, gets it over. Outside hit. That's another point for the Cougars.
All right, Jade Vasquez, just keep the ball in. Let your team win the point.
Kylie Gibson, their left-handed hitter, she put a nice play on it, but into the antenna. Vasquez gets it over. Set now. Cullison with a big,
that was vicious,
sweeping spike.
All right, so now the Cougars have got to steady themselves and win the point back, which they can do.
Right, they fought back, getting 5 points off that serve, so definitely don't want to let the Cardinals get to game point here, so big point to win.
Oh, no.
Miss hit at the net by Fisher. They are now at match point. Cougars going to have to win the next 4 points. But as we've said, the only point you can win right now is this one. Lauren Cullison with a nice serve just over the net. Costello, though, keeping the Cougars alive. Back to serve now is going to be whom for the Cougars?
No one.
No server. That's an interesting strategy.
It's a new approach to this.
Going to be senior Shea Barrow. Again, only can now win this point.
Just needs to get it over that net.
Get it over. She does. Nicely done. Little confusion. Costello with the dink. Here comes Wright. Blocked. Blocked by the senior duo there of Lily Costello and McKendry Fisher. Those two have played together for a long time.
Here we go. Just one more over the net.
That's again, yep. You need two, but you can only get one here. Get it over. Davis finds the opening, though. Cougars collapse to the center. They found the opening. So in a bit of an upset, Cougars are going to fall to Southport, bringing their record in conference to 5-2. Hopes for a championship still alive. Columbus North has more games to play. They're only 3-1, and we'll see what they do with South. South can come through. Cougars are still in good shape. But unfortunately for the Cougars on senior night, not the result they wanted. Hard-fought game. Excellent volleyball was played, but did not go their way.
Yeah, they obviously showed a lot of mental toughness to come back and put themselves in command, and they're in the fifth set when they really could have given up. They did not. So all kinds of credit to them. Nonetheless, the Southport team played very well, and they really were able to find some holes in the defense. They were able to pick the defense apart a little bit, and down the stretch there found just enough spots to win.
I do think that their loose kind of team attitude helped them in this long match to let them just not be tense, not be nervous. They were down 2-1. Obviously, on the road in a hole like that is not good, but they were able to fight back, use that looseness to their advantage, and came out on top.
Yeah, they were over there laughing and slouching and not getting stressed about it, and were able to pull it off. Nonetheless, a great season for the Cougars. It'll be hard. They'll be disappointed with this, and I'll look forward to talking to them about it in the next couple of days. But lots for them to be proud of.
Just got a text from Athletic Director Andy Hodson that Columbus North did lose to South in volleyball. So both of the front runners lose tonight. So unfortunately, on a night that the Cougars could have wrapped it up, they did not. But good news coming that Columbus North fell as well. Again, to wrap it up, this is the last home game for the Cougars. Senior night, send 6 seniors on their way. Obviously, though, the season's not over. I think they still have another road game or 2, and then it's sectional time. A lot of good things could be expected out of this group, though. If they play well, learn some lessons maybe from this one, don't get themselves in a hole early, play hard. Again, a great group of kids that I think have the potential to really do some things in the tournament.
I could be mistaken. I apologize if I am stating this incorrectly, but I thought I saw the draw for sectionals, and it looks like we got South in the early part of the sectional. So that would be a great game to watch, whether it's here or there, because that's a good team and it's a big rivalry, and they'll be looking for revenge for what was a pretty painful loss on their home court.
Both teams can go into that one with confidence, with South having won the first 2 games and doing it quite handily, but then Cougars obviously came out on top by winning the next 3. So that would be a good matchup.
Which left South with the pain of watching the North fans storm their court.
Right, which is always something to see.
We're in favor of that.
I enjoyed it. So we'll wrap it up here. Again, Cougars fall 3-2 to Southport in a spirited volleyball match. Again, Cougars kind of maintaining where they were in Conference Indiana, however, with the Columbus North loss as well. So with Don Adams, it's been Jeff Aiken for Bloomington High School North, BHSN TV, the video club, found at bhsntv.com. And hopefully we'll see you for some basketball games coming up. So thank you very much.